didn't really work. Anyway, so we'll go like this, so go ahead.
I was wondering, as a director, how do you make sure that the show, the pacing is correct? Is that all directing, or is it the script as well? You know, some shows tend to lag in certain spots, the scene may seem too long. How do you make sure that that's correct? Do you only know really when you see the dailies? Or?
Yeah, you can't really know. There's a term I use that I stole from my mentor that got me started as a director, which is, if things are lagging, well, there's two terms. One is, he used to go up to the actors and go, you guys, it looks like you're acting underwater. Pace it up, pace it up. And the joke one that I always thought was a joke was, you guys gotta act faster, act faster. Which always like, oh, I was like, how do you act faster? Well, of course, my first episode came in like 10 minutes too long, and I had to cut 10 minutes out. I realized, I should have told these guys to act faster. It seemed so silly at the time, but now I really get it. So, yeah, I mean, look, so some scenes are designed to just lay pipe to get you from one point to the other, exposition, and some are meant to really, you know, take the time. I think the two we talked about in Frontierland, we did take our time. And the other thing you can do is you can really fold time in the editing room. You can either cut complete lines out, or you can just cut around quicker. And, but generally, you try and get the performance on camera. You don't want to rely on, well, I can fix it in post. I mean, that's like kind of a joke term that's used, but you always want to try and make sure you get it the day you're shooting it. And a lot of times we'll rehearse a scene, we'll do a couple takes, and I'll say, okay, guys, I got what I need, but let's just pick up your cues, step on each other's lines, and just pace it up. So you do one like that, and everybody looks at each other and goes, well, why did we do that on take one? I mean, that felt so natural. That felt like how I really talked to my friends. And so then you get into like the coverage, we start going closer into the close-up, and everybody paces it up, and it's better for it at the end. But you can't really know until you sort of start cutting it together. And then, you know, the heartbreaking thing is most shows that generally come in at least 4 or 5 minutes over, sometimes 10, 12, 15 minutes over. And you know, the TV is, they gotta put those commercials in. They'd rather you cut nice stuff out of the show than cut a commercial. They won't cut a commercial, period. So it's like, nowadays it's around 42 minutes and change, so it's pretty rigidly timed. You know, like, I think HBO, like the Showtime, those kind of shows that don't have commercials, they have a little leeway because they're not relying on sponsors. So, yeah, yeah, thanks. That's
Hi. I'm a film student here in Nashville, and I was just curious, what do you think is the most difficult aspect of directing?
The most what kind of aspect?
Difficult aspect of it?
God, just getting work. I mean, it's like, just like anything that I know for every episode I show up to do, there's probably 1,000 people sitting home, or more, God, I'm sure there's more, that for no other reason than luck and karma and whatever could have been doing. So I'm always very appreciative when I get work, but that's probably not the answer you want. You know, I don't know. What's nice is like when I was in high school, college, and I studying. I knew since I was 10 years old I wanted to be a director. I didn't quite know how you go about doing that, but I sort of went with what I thought was the way to go. The great thing was like when they just started the advent of laser discs and the running commentary, and you got I know that there's a lot of fans of the show on DVD with any of the episodes that have the running commentary. Well, I mean, they were expensive back then. I snapped anything I could with Ridley Scott or Terry Gilliam. Anybody that talked about, because I think there was a Blade Runner with running commentary by Ridley Scott. So yeah, if you talk about that and Alien, he did back to back, stunning. That's a pretty great, like almost free film school. Also, the thing that has come second nature to me, thank God, because I was a camera operator for 12 years, is the nuts and bolts. Like the real, like when you get in the editing room, is this scene going to work? Because we're talking about eye lines and matching and screen direction. So when somebody comes in and they yell left to right, you don't have the bad guy look back left to right, because then it looks like they're both looking in the same direction. Or if it's cut the other way, it looks like they're looking away from each other. So like, you gotta be real loyal in any kind of like shootouts or car chases that you don't see the bad guy car go this way and the good guy car go that way. Now they break those rules all the time and it just drives me crazy. One of the Bourne movies had a big crazy car chase. Everyone was like, you gotta go see it. I love car chases. You gotta go see this. And I was like, yeah, it was great for the stunt guys, for their real. But cinematically, it was a mess. Now, you know, the director can say, well, I did that on purpose. I wanted to confuse the audience. Yeah, okay, I can buy that, I guess. I can certainly use that excuse when it's convenient for me. But the nuts and bolts, I think screen direction and eye lines and matching, all that stuff is something that you don't realize is the director's job. You'll have people that help you, script supervisor and the whole camera crew usually will help you with that. But the more you know it and the more you're on top of that. And then also, for me, I always tell people study art, study classics, and take acting classes. Even if you don't want to be an actor, just audit, sit in the back.
Yeah, I've learned that. It's hard to find good actors when you're a student, though.
It really is, and you got to know what a bad performance is. I mean, look, when I was a kid, I thought soap opera acting and Charlton Heston. Get your arms up, you stupid. I thought that was the best acting in the world because it was crying, blood was everywhere, and like this. It wasn't until I got older that I realized, or started directing, I realized that's horrible acting. But we love it. I mean, you just got to be aware that this is a heightened reality. But generally the stuff I do, even the genre stuff, Supernatural being one of those, you treat it as if I know they're saying salt guns and shape-shifting, people are disappearing and their eyes are turning black. It's crazy. It doesn't happen in real life, but they have to deliver those lines like it's the most serious thing they've ever done. And obviously they do. But generally with what I do is, because I'm not doing a lot of comedy, though I'd love to, it's pretty close to, you want to create the feeling that this is only happening once, the first time, it's never happened before, and we haven't taken 8 hours and moved the camera 24 times to get the scene. So yeah, I think the combination of all those things will do you good.
Okay.
All right.
Hi. First, I wanted to thank you so much from day one of filming Frontierland of posting stuff on your Twitter. Like, it was the first